Mike Buckley had a remarkable career as an incredibly influential figure in the world of Connecticut education as a school principal and leader at CAS-CIAC. Throughout his career, he established himself as a leader among leaders, mentoring countless individuals, while his work at CAS created substantial growth in the leadership programs offered by the organization. His efforts left an indelible legacy on behalf of school leaders, teachers, and students, and lifted CAS to new heights.
I think of him as the epitome of a great leader in the field. All the things, all of the personal attributes that the good leaders have, I see in Mike. He's a role model for people both in and out of the office, an advisor to all, and a friend to all who come into his sphere of influence.
I grew up in a family of educators. It kind of steered me into education. I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, I can see the influences. First teaching job, Glastonbury High School, and very quickly into a leadership role, assistant principal there, and then a series of principalships. And I loved leading a school. I still think it's the best job in education. I feel blessed and privileged to have had the opportunity to do that.
He's like the gold standard for principals. And I think he's had an enormous impact in his life on the lives of countless students and innumerable principals. Conveys the feeling that the only thing he's there to do is to make you successful, whether that's a kid or a principal.
I just think he's an extraordinary human being, as I think many people do. A lot of us in the state carry that impression of Mike Buckley, that he's just a premier educator and a fabulous individual.
And I really believe that a principal is the lead teacher in a school, and you can be the lead teacher without having a class list of students assigned to you. You're a leader by the values that you carry and portray, by what you model, by the enthusiasm and energy you bring to the job. That's kind of the way I define the job, and I loved it.
He wants to make sure that everybody's given a chance to succeed. He also looks at the resources that are available to him and how can he use those to help the most people or help them in the best way.
It taught me that no job is either below me or above me, and everyone can help out in every capacity. That, I think, is a lifelong lesson to be taken in all areas of your life.
I think it's easy to take for granted how competent he is as a leader. He's highly talented, he's highly skilled, but he just makes it look so easy. There's such a focus, there's such a clarity, there's such an attention to detail, and that's just Mike, and that's just the way he does business.
Mike Savage gave me the opportunity to come here and support principals, support the people that are on the line and doing the real work. And I'd commit for no more than 5 years, stayed for 15, and that's just a reflection of the good people both in the CAS organization and in member schools.
I think he really epitomizes what we hope CAS will be to people. He's always there. I know anytime anyone had a question or a concern or needed some kind of resource, Mike was the first one to say, I'll help. And then he usually found whatever was needed. So I think for me, Mike really sort of epitomized what CAS should be, what each of us at CAS should be.
Where was the organization when you walked in, and where is it when you leave? And I think that that's a mark of somebody who, one, embodies this kind of award that's being given, but did you elevate and move it to a new place that it hadn't been before?
After the tragedy in Newtown, we decided here at CAS that we would develop an emergency response team. So we sent out a questionnaire to every principal in the state of Connecticut, and we asked them, if you were to have a tragedy or something difficult happening in your school, who would you call? No name came up more than Mike Buckley. That's the esteem in which Mike's colleagues and people in the field held Mike.
There's so many honors he could get, and I bet it was hard for him to write his bio because, like Jen and I said, he probably just said, work was done, I was there. Mike,
Yeah.
where we know how much work was done and how much caring went into it.
He's a great friend. He's a great contributor. For me, I think working with Mike elevated my practice because I tried to be as good as Mike. And nobody's as good as Mike.
Mike remains the example of how I believe our Creator wants us to live. And as I have all of my life, when I grow up, I want to be just like Mike.
I showed up and tried, and I think did some good work, but I'm really, really, really humbled by the company that this places me with. I'm humbled and honored.